Hey, yo. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Agius, aka Static Shock, and welcome back to another episode of For Life Means, the podcast, a podcast of encouragement, perspective, and life. There is something in my eye. What a great return to have something in my eye on my first episode back after a long time. Gotta love it. Anyways, welcome back, man. I am back. Let me tell you. One could say, and this is you know what I'm saying? One could say the reason why I was gone, I might have been a little bit discouraged. One could say that, or one could say I was unmotivated. One could say that. You know, one could say I was uninspired. One could say that. One could say I was paying too much attention to the numbers. One could say that. I'm not saying that any of that is true, but one could assume. But anyways, I'm back. I got some clarity. I come back with some more clarity. And yeah, I am back. I'm thinking about, switching up how I'm doing these podcasts so I can have some good topics and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. And thank you so much for tuning to this episode. I really appreciate it. As I always say, I don't know what I always say. All right, anyways, this is awkward. Let's just get into it. So, yeah, but I'm glad to be back. Again, I'm glad to be back. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And, I haven't done this in a while, but are you ready for a little bit of ASMR? Yes, sir. Let's go. I haven't had coffee. I've been off my coffee game recently too. So we back at it, bro. We back at it. I've been doing French press, but I finally made myself a little latte. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyways, let's cut into the music, please. It's really been a while since I've had a latte. I've been doing French press recently because I got this new coffee grinder, and I was hoping that it would get fine enough for espresso, but alas, it wasn't. That's what happens when you get a $60 grinder. It's not gonna do everything that you need it to do. So I've been doing French press lately, and man, after having that drink right there, I surely do miss espresso. I surely do miss lattes. Homemade lattes. All right, anyways. So, yeah, I just want to get straight into it. So, I had this thought recently about being whole. I remember reading a quote saying that, and it was talking about relationships. Whenever you're getting with someone, you're not looking for someone who makes you whole. You want to enter into that relationship whole yourself. You want two whole people to come together, and two whole people that's one and one to come together and make two. Not half and half make one, but one and one make two. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy, because I feel like in relationships, but also in friendships and other things, we look for other people to make us whole. We look to other people who aren't whole, who are not whole, to make us whole. Even if that person that you're looking at, even if they are whole, and we're talking about wholeness in Christ, because that's the only way that you can ever get whole, is your wholeness in Christ and your wholeness in God. You hear how I said that? God. That's how like, when really educated people, like, they're really trying to get a point across, and they say God. They don't say God, because God just sounds like, God is a great word, but when you say God, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, whoa, this guy really knows what he's talking about. Anyways, what was I saying? So, we can't look towards other people to make us whole. It's just not going to happen because everybody is imperfect. Every single person on this world is imperfect. You can't look at imperfect people to make you perfect, because what we're talking about in perfect is, when I say perfect, I'm not saying like perfect. I'm saying like perfect as in whole, as in I have my whole being is good, is secured. And so, this might be the same thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, this might be the same thing that I went to, because often, as a creative, as a person stuttering, as a person who more or less has to look at their numbers, has to look at their analytics. Sometimes it is so easy to look at those things and base your success, base your growth, and base your wholeness off of those things, off of those numbers, off of the watch time, off of how much money you make. It's easy to base your wholeness off of those things, because those things are like, they are right there. Right there. They tell you, quote unquote, how well you are doing. But one thing, and that's still one thing that I definitely struggle with. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get discouraged. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. But those things will not make you whole. They'll make you happy for a little quick second, but your spirit is not affected by those things. Your purpose is actually not affected by those things, because your purpose is not affected by numbers. It's affected by the people that you inspire. At least for me, my success is people telling me that I inspired them. People telling me that I helped them, that I motivated them, that I encouraged them, that I edified them. That's where true success comes in. We have, as Christians, we have the goal, we have the call to go and make disciples. Not hair in my mouth. We have the call to go and make disciples. We don't have the call. It doesn't say that our call is to base our is not even to base our wholeness. It's not to base our success on how many disciples that we make. It doesn't say go out and make 20 disciples. It just says go out and make disciples. Just go out and make disciples. It doesn't give you a specific number. So whether you make one or two disciples or 150, you're still living out your calling. You're still doing what Jesus said for us to do. And so that's why we can't base our wholeness off of there's a word that I want to use. But the word that I'm going to use is we can't base our wholeness off of immaculate things. Wait, no, immaculate is a good word. We can't base it off of petty things. Numbers, they're petty, bro. It's just nothing. Like, throw it to the side. They don't matter. It just doesn't matter. Look, one thing, like, I have had such the blessing in my time away that people came to me and said that I inspired them. And I was like, whoa, I didn't think I was doing anything. Because I was focused on the numbers. And now, of course, when people will come up to you and tell you directly that you inspired them, it's going to encourage you. It's definitely going to encourage you, but I was focused on the numbers. So anyways, I say that all to say that broken things that are incomplete will not even aid you in completing yourself. It's not going to make you whole. You can't, like, even myself, like, I do this podcast to edify the people, to encourage the people, to give them new perspective, to give them life. But I can't give you wholeness. I myself am not perfect. I have wholeness in God, but I can't give wholeness to you. I can only guide you. I can only encourage you. I can only edify you. I can only tell you truth. I can only give you life, but I myself cannot make you whole, because wholeness, ultimate wholeness, comes from God, and it comes from God only. I can't do it. Your friends can't do it. Your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your tío, your tia cannot make you whole. They just cannot. They have no power. And yes, I'm not saying that they cannot help. Do not get me wrong. I am not saying that they cannot help. We have pastors for a reason. We have friends for a reason. We have mothers and fathers and uncles and brothers and sisters and mothers and all that stuff. We have all of them for a reason. But what I'm saying is that they can help, that they surely can help. But ultimately, it'll come from God. Ultimately, your wholeness will come from God. You know, we are all susceptible to giving incorrect info. That's facts. You know, we all have our own opinions on things. That's facts. But sometimes the things that we say aren't facts, which is why we really have to depend on God. And that's the thing that I want to say, is that we really have to depend on God, because once we start depending on other people or other things, that is when we fail. That is when we regress. That is when we fail, bro. When we start focusing on other things outside of God, that is when we fail. And I don't want to fail. I don't want to focus on these other things. I don't want to focus on these other people. I want to take the good. What is this? What's the phrase? Take the good with the bad. You know, take the good with the bad. I think that's the phrase that I want to use. You know what I'm saying? Like God, He is omni. Like he truly is omni. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient. He's omni. All those other omni words. He is all those things. He is a sovereign God. He is sovereign. He is whole. And he is the only one that can make you whole. So stop looking at these other things. He knows every single thing. He knows every single thing that you've been through, that you're going to go through, that you're going through now. He knows all those things, and he knows exactly how to get you out of all those things. But it first starts with you leaning on him, with you depending on him and not on other people. Every single thing points back to Jesus. Everything that you're going through points back to Jesus. Why do we give our life to him? Because everything goes back to him. Because he can handle everything. There's no point in him giving his life if there's no use for him. If it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So why are we depending on other things and other people to make sense for us? Is that tough? Is that tough or no? Because I really don't know. So look, and I also want to say, look, so when the word says that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance produces character, and character produces hope, it doesn't say that these things they don't produce all the answers. They don't produce all the answers. It says there is a timeline of sorts. There is a pattern that suffering produces perseverance. It doesn't produce everything that I need to know, but it produces for me to depend on God, because at the end of that, when I suffer, I have to depend on God. When I have to persevere, I have to depend on God, because when I'm weak, he is strong. When my perseverance produces character, it's producing a godly character. It's producing in me to be dependent on God and to become like God. When character produces hope, it produces it produces a future. It produces me longing for the future, for me longing for a better life. And I'm not going to have that better life without God. See, if I depend on other people to get me out of suffering, it's not going to work. When I'm trying to persevere and I have people around me who are imperfect and who cannot provide me strength, I'm going to fail. If I base my character off the people around me, it's not always going to end well, because some people have horrible character. And let's be real, some people that we're around, I've had friends that I stayed friends with for a long time who honestly had bad character, and it just be like that. And also for hope, some people just have no hope. Just to put it plainly, they have no hope. And so that's why we have to depend on God. We just have to depend on God. He is going to produce all those things for us that we need. All those things he's going to produce in us, and he's just a sovereign God, bro. And so that's why, that's my focus right now, is just to truly depend on God, instead of looking at these outside influences, because that's all they really are, just like influences, because they influence your brain, and by that they influence your actions. They influence how you respond to things, and quite frankly, I'm trying to respond to things in the right way, in a way that is glorifying God. So yeah, God is the one that's going to fulfill all those things in you that need to be needed. He's going to fulfill your purpose. And so, depend on God. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'm so glad that I'm back, and I will see you next time. Please don't forget to share this. If someone needs this, and I know I was doing, I came back a little rusty, you know what I'm saying? But if you feel like someone needs this word, share it with them. Just share it with them. That's all you gotta do. This is simple. I'm just saying, just share it with them. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning to this episode. And I love you all, and I will see you next time. Peace out.